Good evening. Tonight we begin, or at least I'm going to begin the Catholic morality section, and then we're going to cover a few other things, but this kind of kicks it off more the moral theology part, and then I'll come back again for some life issues, social justice, and conscience. I'll be back to talk about those things, I think. It's still up in the air. But tonight I want to begin with a prayer. If you have your little blue books, it's on page 31. If you don't, it's okay. But this prayer has a pretty good reflection on Catholic morality. Top of page 31. So, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Soul of Christ, sanctify me. Make a saint of me. Show me how to rid myself of traits of character that annoy others, that make the lives of those about me miserable. Help me to break the hardened shell within which selfishness hides, and which renders me insensible to the needs of others. May I become great enough to be the servant of both rich and poor. May I grow strong in virtue, so as to sustain the weak and encourage the weary. May my heart increase its power to love, so as to be able to minister kindness to the timid and mercy to the wayward. May I have the honor to bring cheer to all my fellow men on the long and sometimes rugged road of life. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Morality, a lot of times, morality is seen as like behavior modification, just don't do this, don't do that. And it's very much centered on me. Either what I'm doing, what I need to stop doing, or what I need to begin doing. And the prayer makes it more clear that morality helps us to live in communion with one another, and also a relationship with God. So, morality, Catholic morality, tends to be what we're going to hear about most on the TV, the newspapers, especially during an election year. Pay attention to that, because it's always going to be, if the Catholic Church is going to be in the paper in the coming year, it's going to have to do with morality in relation to politics. But this is the area that really nobody really cares what we believe about the Eucharist or what we believe about the divinity of Christ. But when it comes to how people live their lives and our teachings, they zero in on that. Because the Catholic Church kind of has a reputation of saying no, 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 no. And so we're kind of the bad guys a lot of the time. So what I want to talk about tonight is not too many things in particular, like sins. I don't want to give anybody any ideas. Most of it is how we approach morality. What is the basis of Catholic morality? How do we understand it? And how do we put it into action? Because it is an election year, you're going to have Catholics on both sides of the fence. And they're going to have legitimate arguments. And that's going to be totally confusing. So I want to talk about where a lot of that comes from. Morality is what enables us to use our conscience, which we talk about later, to judge properly about life issues, about justice, about what's right and wrong. You can't live with one another and you can't serve God without exercising things like justice and mercy and love. So the teaching on morality are those very basic things that we need to learn in order to live properly. Now, some of those things, if we look around, we observe through science, we've been given the great gift to understand certain laws of nature. How the planets function, how our planet functions, and all that. Gravity and all that kind of good stuff. Things have laws. They operate a certain way. Our own bodies, I think I mentioned it before. floor, we have certain laws and systems, respiratory system, circulatory system, et cetera, et cetera. Those are laws. God has given us certain laws also that transcend just the merely biological or the natural, but start addressing the spiritual. And it's going to be things about love one another. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and your neighbor as yourself. The Ten Commandments that God gave to Moses. Those are the first sets of rules not just to the individual, but to the community. So that we could live in community, so that actually we have, if you think about it, the law that was given to Moses gave the Israelites direction and purpose for their life. It gave them some kind of tangible focus and practice so that they could progress, not just literally through the desert, but from the heart toward God. To become more holy. And some of that was directing behavior and conduct toward one another in society. But it was also individual. If God said, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, it was directly in relation to the beauty and the sacredness of marriage. The duties you have, not to your neighbor, but to your own spouse. You see. So it cuts both ways. Thou shalt not kill was not just a prohibitive directive to not kill somebody else. It was also implied you are to learn to value life. Not squander it, not waste it, not take it for granted, yours or anyone else's. So there's two sides to these things. The law of love that Jesus talks about. All the law and the prophets flow from this one thing from Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On those two commandments depend all the law and prophets. What love requires, that's the essence of the moral code, of the Catholic moral teaching. What does love require of us? If we loved animals, what would it require? If we loved nature, what would it require? If we love ourselves, what does that require? If we love God, what does that require? And that's what we call, what love requires. We call that the minimum of Catholic law, of Catholic moral commandments. It's the basic code. That's the minimum. To love one another and to love God. So the maximum, what is the maximum that love requires? The maximum that love requires would be following Jesus' footsteps and to be totally emptied of ourselves for the sake of others. Sacrificial. That's the maximum that love commands, is that we give everything of ourselves. That sounds so far-fetched until you have children and you get married, and then you understand the capacity for sacrifice. The thing you didn't think you had in you, you move beyond self-interest and learn an awful lot about sacrifice. Not in the grand gestures, but in those little day-to-day things, that matter. And it can be a sacrifice where you hold your tongue, and keep the way that you actually know is better to yourself. And just let them do what they're doing. You know what I mean? Does that sound familiar? There's little sacrifices that you do for their sake. You give of yourself. So that's the maximum of love. And to completely give of yourself. So, one of the basic understandings from even the pagan Greeks, when they were talking about doctors, those who practice medicine, one of the basic laws is above do no harm. They understood that each one of us has within our ability. We can harm someone or we can help someone. So the great code for them, when it came to physicians, I don't want to say doctors, but in their day, physicians, they understood that how easily it was to take advantage of someone, either for money or to poison someone. The great moral code, which became the Hippocratic Oath, is first do no harm. And so there was a certain code. So in some ways, that was a basis of a moral teaching, but that was mainly because they wanted to keep society together. You know, don't do anything that's going to upset everybody. Keep the peace. With God, with the Israelites, with the Christian church, it was taken to a much greater step. It wasn't done just to keep society at peace, because they realized pretty quick sometimes what keeps society at peace isn't necessarily moral. So the confusion about what was good for you and what was entertaining was blurred. And that should pertain to our day and age as well. What is good for you and what is entertaining aren't necessarily the same things. Often they're not. And so what the Israelites did for the world, not just introduce the world to a one true God, it also helped us to understand the importance of being good and pursuing the good. And so for many centuries, some great thinkers sat down and asked that question: what is the greatest good for each human being? Now, in our country was founded with certain principles, and we recall life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The first of those is life. If you remember what I just said about first do no harm, the primary good that we have in this country, not because we're Americans, but because we're human beings, is the right to life. If you do not have life, you cannot enjoy any other liberty, privilege, right, or good. I mean, it goes without saying, right? So it is our responsibility to protect life. What does that mean? To some, again, this is going to come up. It's an election year. What does that mean? Catholic moral teaching is going to revolve around that simple statement: that protect life. Now that means not just abortion. That is a myopic view. If that is the only issue, you're missing the rest of the world. There's that, but there's also, after the child is born, there's health care, there is a just living wage, there's the protection for the elderly and health care for them. There are things like just war theory that is supposed to guide us in how we engage a hostile country, a hostile nation, or government. All of these things pertain to life. So much more broader than a single issue. The reason that's important is because Catholic moral theology is not centered on a generic group. Okay, it does not approach this. It has to teach it that way. It teaches principles in accordance with right and wrong, but it applies it to each individual. Grace operates the same way. What is the greatest gift of the Holy Spirit? Well, it really depends. It depends on what the need would be. You know, everyone's given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. But here's the thing. The grace of the Holy Spirit is not ordered according to importance or power. It's ordered according to need. If someone is hungry, the greatest good is the person that feeds them. When someone is sick, the greatest gift is the person who helps to heal them. If they're in prison, it's the one that visits. Do you understand what I'm saying? When it comes to the application of Catholic moral theology, what is the greatest good? It depends on the weakest one. At the moment, it is not the relation, only because the relationship with Christ is not generic. It is specific and personal. Jesus does not deal with the church. He deals with you and me and your kids and your parents. You get the difference, what I'm saying? It is very, very specific and personal. So, Catholic moral theology deals with the individual. What is the most important moral issue? It just depends on where you are. It depends on where you are. You know? And that's very important, because what's going to happen is we are about to see more of what we've been seeing on the national stage. We're going to see demands for care of immigrants, the care of health care for children and elderly and things like that, and protection. You're also going to hear a demand to end abortion and to protect the life of a child. All of these things are very important. All of these things are very important. And there's going to be arguments about marriage and things like that too. You know, same-sex marriage is going to be challenged and all that. It's going to happen again and again and again. All of these things are very important. Why? Because they are individuals created in the image and likeness of God that are involved. And so we do the best we can. Now, the big mistake that we make, and that's been made for centuries, for ages and eons, is thinking that we can legislate that by changing the laws, we make everybody moral. It's not the way it works. It has never worked that way. The only way it works is if individuals become moral, then the laws and society flows from that. It is the only way that works. That means the individual, then the home, then the community, etc., and the nation follows. It's the only way it works. So we need to be very, very careful about how impassioned we become. Because we can become so impassioned about one moral issue that we're blinded to the others. And again, it ain't an issue we're talking about, it's the individuals that are left in the lurch. We are called to love them and care for them more than ourselves, more than our agenda, things like that. It's very important. That's why this is such a hot topic. You get enough people in one room, and here comes the big blow-up kind of argument. And that's exactly what happens, because we're talking about life and death situations here. To further drive that point home, I want to read from the Gospel of Luke. Now, in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus is going through town, and you get to set the stage. It begins with the parable of the lost sheep. But what happens? Jesus comes into town, and it says the tax collectors and sinners. It just comes right out and says it. Tax collectors and sinners. They're all drawing near to listen to Jesus. So already, the good Jesus and the nasty sinners and all that. So here come the Pharisees. Pharisees and the scribes are saying, so they're watching this man receives sinners and eats with them. See, this is not right. So Jesus, that's important to say that. You're a bunch of sinners and you're eating with them. So Jesus tells them this parable. What man of you having 100 sheep, if he loses one of them, is Does not leave the 99 in the wilderness. Okay, he finds it, puts it on shore, brings it back. There's a lot of rejoicing. He's found his lost sheep. Then he moves again, immediately to another story. Or, what woman having 10 silver coins, if she loses one coin, she lights a lamp, sweeps the house. Then when she finds it, she calls all of her friends in, throws a party, and rejoices she found her lost coin. Now before they can say anything, he says, then he said, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of the property that falls to me. Give me my inheritance now. I wish you were dead. I'm cashing in now. He divided his living between the 2 sons, and not many days later, the younger son gathered all that he had, took his journey to a far country. He squandered his property and loose living. So he spent everything. Great famine arose, and he began to be in want. So he went and joined himself to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into the fields to feed swine. He's at the lowest of the low here, rock bottom. He would gladly fed on the pods that the swine ate, but no one gave him anything. So he came to himself and he said, and that's important, he came to himself and said, how many of my father's hired servants have enough bread to eat? And here I am starving. I'm going to arise, go to my father and say to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and before you. See, the right relationship is getting in order, heaven and you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. He rose, came to his father, but while he was yet at his distance, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. The son says to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and before you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. The father says to him, bring quickly the best robes, put it on my son. Put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. Bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let us eat and make merry. For the son that was dead is alive again. He was lost and found. They began to make merry. The son has that revelation and change of heart. He comes to himself and he realizes his place between his father and God. Sinned against you and against heaven. His 2 primary relationships that give him his identity. His name that comes from his father, and his life that comes from God. And now he's figured out where he is and all that, how dependent he is on others. This is the kind of change of heart that we're talking about when it comes to morality. It's understanding that relationship and how fragile it is. It's not the end of the story, because now the father's elder son was in the field. And as he came and drew near to the house, he heard the music and dancing. So he calls one of the servants and he says, what's going on? The servant says, your brother is come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has received him safe and sound. The son became angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him, but he answered his father, these many years I have served you, I have never disobeyed your command, yet you never gave me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. But when this son of yours comes home, who has devoured your living with harlots, you killed for him the fatted calf. He said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to make merry and be glad, for this brother of yours was dead. He is alive. He was lost, and he's found. This is one of the most important aspects of Catholic morality. It is not behavior modification. It is not conduct. The son, this oldest son, did everything right. He was obedient. He was there. He was probably careful with his money. He was respectful. But deep within, in spite of all of the obedience and all that, there was a rottenness inside of him and in his heart that had no compassion for his flesh and blood. He he expected better. The youngest son had to leave to find his relationship, to find out that he was loved, to find out the importance of being in relationship with God and his family. So that he had to get the perspective that it was better to be a slave of his father than to not be in relationship with his father at all. The oldest son might have stayed, but he wasn't in it. He did not get it. Now remember, Jesus is telling all these stories to the Pharisees who are looking and saying, they're a bunch of sinners. You have no business fooling them. What makes them so much better? These Pharisees and scribes. They went to church when they were supposed to. They ate what they were supposed to, avoided what they were supposed to, washed their hands as many times as they were supposed to. And when the bell rang, they faced that way and bowed, whatever, however many times they were supposed to. And they didn't associate with the wrong people. Their conduct and their behavior was impeccable. But what does Jesus call them? A brood of vipers. Why? There's a rottenness on the inside. And so the purpose of Jesus coming is to help us to understand that morality and faithfulness is so much more than obedience and conduct. It's such a change from the heart. It's such a change of our orientation as far as our understanding our relationship with one another and God, that it's like being born again. It is completely new life and a new person. Because now there's a new purpose and a new direction. It's no longer what pleases me. It's about pleasing God, caring for others. And that calls me into action. So when Jesus goes on, he's going to say, you know, this Christian life is so much more, or this life that we're called to is going to be so much more than just doing and saying the right thing. Beating your breast and saying, Lord, Lord. It's clothing the naked, feeding the hungry, visiting the sick in prison. You know? It's not sitting back and watching God do stuff. It's getting up and helping God make wonderful things happen. Now that's going to be like apostolic life, putting those things into action. Morality, when we talk about Catholic morality, it's about developing not conduct. It's developing a loving heart. It's about developing all those things that you can't put your finger on. Bravery, honor, love, compassion. It's the things that inspire us from the heart to be motivated into action. That's what Catholic morality is supposed to do. It's not supposed to be, there's two sides, do good and avoid evil. It's supposed to be the emphasis on doing good, being active. Avoiding evil by itself is not enough. That's nice, but that's not enough. It's not enough. Just because you've never had a ticket or you've never spent a night in jail does not make you a good person. I mean, you have a clean record, but that doesn't say a whole lot when you hit the gates of heaven. You know, there's what we call a human values report card. We always use the example of Hitler, because he's the best example, to ever use. Because it proves the point. When it comes to bravery, he's a decorated war hero, First World War. He was decorated for bravery. Leadership, well, a lot of people, he organized and followed him, so you kind of have to give him high marks there. He wasn't exactly stupid. He wrote a book, which is one more than I've ever written. So I can't knock him there. And it was a bestseller. Granted, it's probably the only book you're allowed to be sold, but we'll split hairs. Tremendous discipline, by the way. You did not smoke, did not drink, was vegetarian. A speaker, he's a wonderful speaker, obviously. So all those things, you're going to give him an A+ or a B+. He's really good at all those things. But when it comes to moral goodness, he fails. And if you don't know who Hitler is, Wikipedia him or Google him or something. His moral goodness, you give him an F. He failed. Which means he fails as a human being, regardless of all the other things he was good at. That's how morality works. Morality shapes our characters and our souls. It is the effort, to learn those virtues and to avoid those vices. Are there any questions or anything that kind of where I'm going to move into a couple of other things? Okay. The moral teachings of the church, which cover most every aspect of life and guide us to try to help us, to teach us to make the best decisions that we can. Also give us like problem-solving techniques, let me say it like that. For instance, it is never permissible to do a bad thing in order to achieve a good end. In other words, the end does not justify the means, right? So if your family's starving, you can't steal. Even if a good thing is to feed your family, you cannot steal. So the end doesn't justify the means. Also, when it comes to choosing between two evils, if that's the only, you're always called to choose the good over the evil. I figured that was a given. But if you have two evils, you're always to choose the lesser of two evils, to minimize the harm that's done. One of the examples, if you're an airline pilot and the plane is going down, and you either veer this way and you go into a neighborhood, or you veer this way and you go into the ocean, you have to choose the ocean to minimize the harm done. So it's the lesser of two evils. Things like that the church teaches us to prepare us that when we're faced with these kind of challenges, we always try to choose the good. If we don't know the good, there's a lot of things that are very confusing. I get a lot of calls mainly on end-of-life issues, and we'll talk about those in a few weeks or whatever. End-of-life issues have become kind of the most common area that I talk as far as Catholic morality, because there's a lot of things going on. Somebody that you love is dying, and you're having to make difficult decisions, and you're not in the best state of mind or peace of heart. And that's part of what the church does, part of what Father John and I do, is to try and help you through those decisions. Not just to make the right decision, to be at peace with the decision you make. So, mainly, I think one of the easiest ways to explain Catholic morality, what is the goal and purpose of Catholic morality? To help us to become more and more human. One saint, and I forget off the top of my head who it was, said, the greatest glory of God is man fully alive. And Jesus comes and he says, I want you to have life and to have it more abundantly. So for us to become Christian is not, and to be born again, and however you want to say it, converted, is not to deny ourselves, but to help and find a way for ourselves to become even more alive than we are now. More aware, more conscious, more self-aware, more God-aware than we are now. more aware of the goodness, and you know. So becoming more human. You know, no other created being has a more or less scope of being. A bear cub is born, and you don't say one of these days he's going to be more bear-like. I mean, they're just bears. They do what they do. They're little, but they're still bears. They're not going to get any more bear-like. Same thing with dogs, cats, and birds. They are what they are. Human beings are the only ones that have the potential to be more or less human. More or less human. And that scale is determined by our moral goodness. Because when someone's bad, you know, what do we say? God, what an animal, huh? So we are the only ones that have the capacity to be more or less who we were meant to be. And it's not about conduct. It's about here. It's always about what's going on in here. So coming to ourselves like this young man, the younger son in the parable, he came to himself. That's just a wonderful, loaded statement. To understand who we are, to understand our purpose and our goodness, our value and our worth, to understand our weakness and our stupidity sometimes, to understand the Father's goodness, to understand what home means, to understand what loss means, and hunger. You know, and then, of course, the rest of the story would have been great. What was his life like after that? I'll never forget, there was a big study where a doctor interviewed people who had attempted suicide and failed and lived. Their love of life, their appreciation of life grew tremendously. There was something about that split second when they were doing whatever it was they were doing that they regretted it. And in that last moment, they wanted, you know, they regretted it. They wanted to continue living. I thought that was very interesting. What happens to us if they're like this young man who is the bottom, you know, he's reached rock bottom, lost everything, he's starving, and he gets another chance at life. You know, I always wonder about the rest of that story. I always wondered the story about the young man who walked away from Jesus. Rich young man. The master, what? Again, here's another good story. He comes up to Jesus and says, you know, Master, what do I have to do to achieve eternal life? He says, obey the prophets and the laws. I already do all that. See, right conduct. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I've checked off the list. To give away all that you have and follow me. The young man went away because he went away sad because he had many nice things. Again, he could not give, you know, more than the minimum. To go beyond the minimum where conversion happens. I wonder what the young man felt like. I mean, given the setting of the time, his many nice things, what would that have constituted, you know? A couple of nice robes and like 5 goats, you know, and he was set. You know, big man in the neighborhood. What do you think he felt when he heard Jesus had risen from the dead? The man that gave him the chance to follow. And he couldn't do it. I wonder if he looked at all that stuff the same way after that. Catholic morality is always a challenge. Not a challenge to do right, but to be right. It's always the invitation to go one step further than you think you can and enter into that moment of conversion. always what Catholic morality was about. To be at work from the heart. It's too bad that it devolves into an argument about what's more right or more legal or whatever. That's the saddest part I think. That was the saddest part of Jesus' time, and it's something we can't get past to this day. I think we need those boundaries, but we hold on, and that's good for society. So we gotta have laws and rules, but we hold on to them so tight. Sometimes people can't breathe. It's like my grandma always talking about the corsets and girdles. Oh, they made you look great. You just passed out all the time, you can't breathe. But when they carted you off to the hospital, you looked fantastic. Sometimes the concentration is on the wrong end of morality. It's on the behavior and it's on the conduct. We do very well with conformity in a society. We do not do well with conversion. Why? Because you can count noses when it comes to conformity. I can tell you how many people show up. And I can tell you how many people pass their theology class. I cannot tell you how many people are converted. That's God's department. That's why we're so uncomfortable with it, and we keep counting noses and start talking numbers because we think that matters. So for each of us to enter into Catholic morality is to enter into the complexity of human life. It is absolutely confusing. At one time, centuries and centuries and centuries ago, Catholic morality was basically formed on how the human being acted. I mean, as a biological being. And that would include sex and medicine and things like that. As time grew on, we started to understand, it was body and spirit, okay? The human being was talked about as an entity made up of body and soul. As time went on, we started to understand human psyche, the mind. And then we started to realize, now neuroscience and neurobiology is in its infancy. So there's more going on in the human being than we know. So the church is trying to stay engaged and trying to be flexible and trying to be patient while we are all trying to understand what makes a human being a human being. So Catholic morality is entering into attempts to enter into that complex world and establish some sense of order that can guide us and direct us and help us find some stability and peace in the midst of not just chaos in society, but the chaos in here and in here. Because some days you get up and you're so confused, it could go either way. I keep cash on hand just in case, today I don't feel like being a priest. I think I'll be a pirate or something, and I'm going to the Caribbean. Adios. You never know. What happens is you say, no, I've made a commitment that transcends my self-interest. And I get seasick real easy. So Catholic morality is really about coming to terms and being willing to engage in becoming a new person. It's always about conversion. And an essential part of conversion is choosing what is right and good. Choosing what is right and good. Who do we look for? The Catechism and the Church, again, is always looking into these areas and trying to find the latest teachings, the latest developments, current science in order to understand human beings. And so we look to that. In some cases, if you don't want to do all the research yourself, you wait for the bishops to address it. Sometimes the popes address it in encyclicals, letters. But it's always there, and it's always a guide. And it's always written in a way that it's not just a medical journal, it's supposed to engage us from the heart, as Jesus would. He ate with the sinners. Why? He wasn't running for office. He didn't need their vote. Why did he eat with sinners? Because they needed someone to remind them that they were human beings. And they needed help. They needed forgiveness. They needed food. They needed kindness. The basic human needs. They knew the rules, you know. They lived in the shadow of the temple. They knew what they were doing and what they weren't doing. But they were forgotten because nobody would talk to them. Part of our spiritual life is to look beyond what we think are our limitations, our society's limitations, and to grow for the sake of others, so that we can become the strong vessels of the Holy Spirit as we were intended to be. When Jesus, or St. Paul says of Jesus, that we must continue all the things that are lacking in Christ's suffering. That's what he's talking about. What could be lacking in Christ's suffering? The suffering that's going on today that you and I are called to address. That's what's lacking. The voice and the presence of Christ in the person you're going to run into tomorrow. It's lacking until we do it. And then it's not lacking anymore. Then they become human, and we become more human, and we become more holy. So morality, that's kind of it in a nutshell without going into specifics. Are there any questions? Thank you all very much. I hope the weather cooperates with you. Safe journey home. We'll see you, I don't remember, 2 weeks. Have a wonderful evening. God bless.
Thank you so much.
John, okay, I'm sorry. I was about to cut you loose, but
Let's start in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. This is a reading from Proverbs. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. On your own intelligence do not rely. In all your ways be mindful of him, and he will make straight your paths. This is a prayer of discernment. Dear Heavenly Father, we see before us numerous choices and a decision to be made. There is division in our heart. Sometimes we want none of what we find. Sometimes we want it all. Sometimes we want to give up making decisions and wish that the future would just go away. We entrust our decision-making into your hands, ready to do our part, but also knowing that we cannot do this without your help. Lead us through all the unsure, unclear, doubtful, hesitant, and questioning moments as we search to find the right way in which to go. Grant us the grace to choose freely without being attached to the outcome. We trust that you will be with us as we make the decision prayerfully and with faith. Grant us the assurance that your peace will rest deep within as we make the decision that seemed best for us at the time. Lord of our life, we place our life in your hands. Lead us to the path that will best deepen and strengthen our relationships with you. We ask all these things through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Thank the Father, and the Son, and the Spirit. Amen.
Come sit with y'all.